So I am here in Brazil. This I got this lovely garden here, and this is basically like a military compound housing or whatever you want to call it. It's mostly Air Force and Brazilian Army and stuff. This is like they got a bunch of bases around here and the airport over there. So I was talking to a lot of people about the things that happen here politically, and what happened is that the Air Force guys here, basically they were collecting information on the Vaticans and stuff like that, and basically this missionary groups of people, they were all intelligence agencies from the Vatican, Rome, and what they did on the Amazon was basically they were saying that they were doing missionary missions, but they were using women to do artistic work, and then they were enslaving the native guys and giving them alcohol and giving them like almost nothing to enslave those people with food, like lack of food, lack of nutrition, and feeding them alcohol to get them addicted to alcohol. And so what happened is that they were enslaving these guys to get silver and gold from the Amazon and really remote areas of the jungles, and then they would use the women to do artistic work and then basically poison them, get them very sick, and then these missionary groups of Vatican's people out of Rome, they would basically call the Air Force to get picked up in the middle of fucking nowhere and then they would get picked up with all these sick women, fill their luggages with raw resources like gold, silver, metal, precious metals like diamond, rubies, and everything you can think of. And then they would fly to the main cities to get, hospitalized and stuff like that. And then there was another Vatican person there waiting to process their luggages over to Rome and the US as well. And this has been going on in Brazil for a while. And this is what the Air Force, this is their intelligence that they were collecting, because when they would load up the airplanes, they would investigate all the luggages to figure out what the hell were they doing, full with extremely heavy luggage, because the military airplane have the weights on there, and when they would put the luggage in, it was extremely heavy with gold, silver, natural resources, and diamonds and everything, precious metals, research, and everything you can think of. And so what happened is that they were basically enslaving the male population of natives, poisoning the females, and then laundering billions of the US dollars in gold over to Europe. And then on top of it all, you're gonna hear a lot of airplanes going through here, because this is like the hub of everything basically. And this is where they go to the Amazon, where they go everywhere in Brazil. So every now and then you're gonna hear airplanes going everywhere, all over the country. And then I talked to another intelligent person here, who's a good friend of mine, who monitor airline traffic and stuff like that. And it's CIA involvements with cartels, with cocaine trafficking, using black unmarked jets that came out of the US and different parts of Europe. They fly very low altitude and they land here and they try to get resources and stuff like that, and they slaughter and murder all these fucking people here. Basically the military do all that. So what happened is that when Bolsonaro was the president here, the things that the CIA is heavily involved with, not just gold trafficking, but cocaine and drug usage and human trafficking, everything you can think of here in the Amazon with the Vaticans and stuff like that. So what happened is that Bolsonaro didn't get the intelligence he needed to, because he was under investigation by the military here, the intelligence agencies here as well, because he became a suspect to be a Mossad and CIA operatives, and he did not accomplish his mission, which is following the national anthem, even in the face of debt, with his own debt. He's willing to protect the nation. He just went over to the US and ate KFC. So that just put a huge red flag on him that he is CIA. And the other guy who's in right now, he's basically from European Union, and then the military here has been monitoring the population for a long time here. And basically there's a lot of Italians, a lot of Europeans. They infiltrated a lot of the public sectors. They changed the law here. They turned everybody away from nationalism, because they were using the Amazon as a world reserve for natural resources, gold, fresh water, concrete, and all these precious metals that Brazil has to offer to the world. And then they are enslaving the local population, harassing, targeting, and even target the president of the United States, the president of Brazil here, Bolsonaro, where they didn't give him sit at the table at the UN and the EU and stuff like that. And they were basically mocking him, and they mocked this president here as well, because there's a lot of Italians, a lot of Spanish intel here, a lot of Mossad agencies here, all working undercover for the CIA as well as the European intelligence agencies and stuff like that. And so I was talking to a lot of Air Force guys here, a lot of people who served in the Amazon and stuff like that. And the reason why they are destabilizing Brazil is to create a one world religious, one world currency for South America, so that the CIA and the European Union and the central banking system can basically monitor the entire population through the digital CBDC currency system that's going to absolutely enslave the population here. And then the senators here are crying, complaining about that they are changing the national currency so that the US and the Europeans, can basically have an upper hand forever in Brazil. And so the military here aligned themselves with the Russians because they couldn't get help anywhere. And that's when the CIA and the European Union freaked out, because Russian intelligence gave the Brazilian military here intelligence on all the airplanes that were smuggling gold, silver, and diamonds over to the US and Europe, and they all got taken out over there in the Amazon. Basically, they take these jets out, they found tons of gold and silver, and then they just basically kill these guys because they are not allowed to be conducting these type of operations in Brazil outside military oversights. And then that's when the CIA and the cartels and the European Union started freaking out, because there's a lot of gold, silver, and things like that over here, that the CIA has their upper hands on everything. They got their upper hands on the religious institutions, especially Jewish groups, Muslim groups, and everything you can think of. in order to dictate international policies to try to control Brazil in a environmental way, environmental laws and things like that, using Vaticans and undercover spies and religious institutions together to collect information on the Brazilian populations and things like that. So that's what's going on in Brazil, and that's what happened. Because as soon as Bolsonaro got all the intelligence from the Russians and was able to catch all these gold smugglers, everybody just freaked out. And so that's what's going on in Brazil. They are going to reset the currency here. The CIA and the Vaticans will, and the International European Union. And they are going to try to bring communism here to feed their capitalist American dream elsewhere. But, Russian intel is not going to let them do that, because Putin already told Venezuela to keep your hand off of Brazil, because the Brazilian people need Russian intel to help us fight not just CIA, but Vatican, human intelligence agencies, and social engineering, isolation, targeting the population through subversion and religious institution and beliefs and stuff like that. So that's what's going on here at the Brazilian side of the world, basically. Also, right behind me here, not this apartment, but there's a tree behind me here. About 2 days ago, one guy was killed. A drug dealer was assigned to steal money from me, and his objective was to terrify me, and he was terminated in the most horrific way possible and killed. So yeah, don't assign drug dealers to terrify me, bro. You just got one of your guys killed in a very terrifying way. So